On this video, I'm going to be reading the Hebrew text of Isaiah 52, 13 to 15, reading it from the Hebrew and then the Greek Septuagint, and then doing grammatical analysis of the two. In my understanding, as I look at the New Testament, this text is clearly applied to Jesus Christ. We see this in Acts chapter 8. We also see it in 1 Peter chapter 2. And so it was the Ethiopian eunuch that this text was preached and by Philip the evangelist, and it was pointing to Christ. So the New Testament clearly applies this to Christ. I see it as a great prophetic moment in the Hebrew scriptures that are fulfilled in Jesus Christ. So reading verse 13, Behold, my servant shall prosper, shall be caused to prosper. He shall be raised, he shall be lifted up, and he shall be exceedingly high. Yaskil is a Hifil imperfect, third masculine singular from sakal, to prosper. With the AI vowel pattern, we're looking at a Hifil imperfect stem. Yarum is the cow imperfect, third masculine singular from rum. He shall be raised. He shall be lifted up. And nisa from nasa, to lift up. A nifal, perfect, third masculine singular from nasa. Vegavamaod, and he shall be high exceedingly. Gava is your cow, perfect, third masculine singular from Gava. So the Septuagint reads, let me just get it here. The Septuagint reads, Edu sune secha paismu, kai hupsothesatai, kai daxastesatai svadra. Behold, my servant shall understand. This is from Sune'emi, future indicative active third person singular. And he shall be exalted, hupsothesatai, future indicative passive third person singular from hupsao, kai daxastesatai svadra, and he shall be glorified exceedingly. And here we have daxastesatai from daxadzo. Both of these are future indicative passives, third person singular. Hupsao, to be lifted up, daxadzo, to be glorified. We've already done a video on this where the Septuagint, probably John, refers to that in John 3. As Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, so must the Son of Man, hupso, be lifted up. Hupso thenai, from hupso, hupsao, same root. And if I be lifted up, I will draw all men to me. Again, John using that reference here from the Septuagint. And then doxazo, now is the Son of Man glorified. And Jesus spoke of that, and it's recorded in John chapter 13. When Judas went out to betray him, doxazo is used. So this text is looking at the passion, I believe, of Christ when he was lifted up on the cross and lifted up into glory, and then glorified in the glorious resurrection. Then we move on to the next verse, verse 14. It reads, Ka asher shamamu alecha rabim, kain mishchat me'ishmarehu v'to'aro mibnei adam. According as many were astonished or appalled at you, thus there was a marring beyond men in his appearance and his form, unlike the sons of men, or beyond more than the sons of men. And as we look at the Hebrew text here, shamamu, to be appalled, we have here the perfect, cal perfect, third person plural from shamam, and thus there was a marring beyond a man in his appearance and his form beyond the sons of men. Looking, I believe, at the crucifixion and all that took place in the beating and the marring that Jesus Christ went through. Then as we look at the Septuagint, Han Tarapan, Exte Santai Epi Se Paloi, Hutos Edaxese Hupaton Anthropon Ta Edasu, Kahedaxasu Apa Huion Anthropon. That is, as many were amazed at you. Han trapan in the Septuagint can be simply rendered as, and as many will be amazed at you, shall be amazed. Future indicative active third person plural. So as many would stand out in amazement at you. Thus, hutos edaxese hupaton anthropon. Thus, enta edasu. Thus, his appearance or his face was without glory from men. Edaxese is from edakeo, future indicative active third person singular, was without glory from men in his face or his appearance. Kahedaxasu hupa huion anthropon. And his glory from the sons of men. And he was without glory from men, and his glory from the sons of men. The question here, looking at probably his appearance again, and the glory of his appearance was really not seen in the crucifixion. It was after the crucifixion when his glory shall be honored and shall be seen. So your glory, speaking of the suffering servant, looking at Christ, I believe, all the way through here. And then in verse 15, I'm going to read the Hebrew again with the grammar. Kenya ze goyim rabim, alav yikpetsu melachim pihim, ki asher lo supar lahem ra'u, va asher lo shama'u itbonanu. Thus shall he, and I'm going to render this sprinkle from nazah, cause many nations to be sprinkled. A hifio imperfect third masculine singular from nazah. Thus will he cause many nations to be sprinkled. Alav yikpetsu melachim pihim. Kings shall shut their mouths at him. Yikpetsu is from kafat, to shut up. And so kings will stand in awe before him, no doubt looking at the exaltation, and that someday every knee shall bow, every tongue will confess, even kings. Why? Ki asher lo supar lahem ra'u, for that which has not been told to them, they will see. Supar is your pual perfect third masculine singular from safar, to relate. That which is not related to them or has been told them, we could say, they will see. Ra'u I'm taking as a prophetic perfect um, from ra'ah, to see. So that which has not been declared to them, they shall see. Va'asher lo shama'u hitbonanu. And that which they have not heard, they will come to understand. Shama'u is the cow perfect third common plural from shama, and hitbonanu is from being, to understand, a hitpayal um, perfect third person plural from being, to understand. And so again, uh, they're going to see things and hear things that they have not seen. And I cannot help but thinking this is looking in the New Testament at the glorious resurrection and all that Christ accomplished. And so then we look at the Septuagint, huto daumas santai ethne pale ep alto. Thus, many nations shall marvel at him. Wonder at him is a translation, or marvel. And here we have thaumazo, future indicative active third person plural in the Septuagint. Kai sunexusin basiles tastoma alton. And kings shall keep their mouths shut. Again, looking at the same thought in the Masoretic text of kings not speaking before one superior to them, the exalted King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This is a future indicative active third person plural. Because hati hu hois uk anagele periautu. Because to them it was not declared concerning him, or that which was not declared, they will see. And notice, anagele is from anagelo. It's the aorist indicative passive third person singular, I believe, from anagelo. So that which was not declared concerning him, now they're going to see. And hupsao is from harao, future indicative active third person plural. They shall see. Kaihoi uk akekaasin sunesusin. And that which they have not heard, akekaasin, is from akuo, perfect indicative active third person plural. That which they have not heard, sunesusin, they will come to understand. Uh, this is a future indicative active third person plural from sune'emi, to come to an understanding. So again, I think we're looking here, as we look at the New Testament, in this great predictive prophetic utterance concerning Jesus Christ, and how nations, many nations, will marvel. And we know in the book of Revelation that out of every tribe and every nation, people will come to recognize the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, the Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm going to stop there. Um, it's interesting. We're going to get on now into how he is an innocent sufferer. And this is one of the reasons, too, why I believe the text is talking about Christ. Because in Isaiah, Israel suffers double for her own sins in the Babylonian captivity. Where here we have an innocent sufferer, the servant of the Lord, uh, who knew no sin, that is suffering. And I think looking at his atoning work and what he accomplishes. So, looking at the Hebrew and the Septuagint, I want to stop there and continue as I have time to work through this text.